Good morning, St. Francis. It is Monday, May the 3rd, 2021, Monday of the 5th week of Easter, the 30th day of Easter, 10 more days left to celebrate the Easter season. But more importantly today is one of those days in which we also share this Easter season with some of our forerunners of the faith. Today on May the 3rd, we remember the apostles Philip and James. Now again, this is perhaps James the Lesser, not James the Greater. James the Greater has his feast day all by himself on July the 25th. So this is perhaps another James. This is not the Sons of Thunder James. This is just another James. And Philip, his companion, Philip, who we heard a little while earlier in the Easter season, having the encounter with the Ethiopian and baptizing the Ethiopian in the Jordan River, bringing him to faith. Today, we share this, we celebrate Easter, but we use two readings that are special to this feast day because it is a feast day for Philip and for James. Before I get to that, just letting you know that we're coming from the chapel, our beautiful chapel here. Again, still offline because of plumbing and heating issues. Hopefully by midsummer, maybe the end of summer, it'll be fixed. Hopefully we can come back in here again as restrictions lift. But you see it from the outside. Now you get to see it again from the inside here, still standing, still awaiting our return. It's a bit humid and a bit rainy outside, so that's why I'm inside today. No hat because I'm inside. So our chapel from the interior. We've seen it from the outside. Now we see it from the inside. Today's reading is, again, special to Philip and James. First reading from Corinthians basically just mentions him as being someone to whom Jesus appears as Paul kind of ticks off how the appearances after the resurrection occurred. Is this the James that we're celebrating today, or is it James the Greater? Again, there's sometimes some debate. It would seem as though James the Greater, who was a leader of the Jerusalem community of Christians before he was beheaded, might be one that Jesus appears to particularly. But it could have been this James, too. The gospel is actually one that we would have heard on Saturday in our reading of John's gospel during the Easter season. But since we don't have Mass here at St. Francis on Saturday and we didn't have any reflection, so we get it today, which is good. In the gospel, we hear mentioned Philip. And so we get two mentions of these saints in the first reading from Corinthians and the second reading, the gospel from John. In the Gospel from John, again, Philip kind of asked the question because Jesus, again, is showing or trying to identify the fact that he is the Father and the Father's with him and he and the Father are one. And Philip asks, well, show us the Father and we will believe. And Jesus says to Philip, have you been with me all this time and still you don't realize what's going on? It's, again, one of those kind of interesting backhanded slaps, that he gives to the apostles, but again, shows Philip's confusion again and again. But then Jesus goes on to say, because you believe in me, if you continue to believe in me, you will do the great works that I have done. And then he goes on to say, and even greater than these. Again, that can sometimes be missed, in the proclamation of the gospel, because again, we think of Jesus as being that and us being this. But in reality, what Jesus is saying in this gospel, again, coming from the Last Supper in John, again, is the confidence, is the affirmation, is the wonder, is the awe that Jesus has in us, that then God has in us, to do even perhaps greater works than Christ was able to do on this earth because of our faith, because of our belief, because of the fact that we have been created in the image and likeness of God. Again, one of the things that the Easter season constantly affirms within us is our ability as images and likenesses of God to do great things in this world. Not to do magic, not to do miracles perhaps, but to stand by and with and for each other always, to accompany each other, to journey with each other, to become people who are immersed in relationship with each other, so the wonder and the goodness of what it means to be human, and what it means to be created by God may shine forth. That is our great gift in this Easter season to remember, and again, once again, to embrace and to live out. Where the apostles Philip and James today, in some way, were able to envision that greatness in their own lives. And even though much of what they did is unrecorded, what little there is shows their confidence in who and what Christ is and what Christ is capable of working through and in us. May we in this Easter season embrace more and more that power of Christ within us to allow us to do those great things that Christ needs us to do in this world. A blessed Easter, St. Francis. May the Lord continue to give you his peace.